Hey Internet friend, Magic Brad here, Asheville, North Carolina, and this is a Synergy Cafe online Google Hangout, and we were going to have a special guest, Stacey, that is a systems expert, and the system is down. She's not able to get internet access, which is a common thing with this internet stuff, I guess. So. But what we were going to talk about was different autoresponders. She may be chiming in because she's going to try and hook up with a hotspot or something, or maybe she'll go to a Starbucks or something to get connected. But I was having challenges too with my custom transparent overlay thing. So normally I've got a little deal on the bottom down here where you can read my name, and I go by Magic Brad and Synergy Cafe. But there'll be links on this on YouTube and things of that sort. Stacey might join later. Once in a while I'll give her another invitation and see if she pops in. But we were going to be talking about the different autoresponder programs that there are, because she works with a lot of them, and I get a lot of questions like, which one should I get? Aweber, ConstantContact, MailChimp, iContact, GetResponse, Infusionsoft. And I guess I can share a little bit of what I know about them. Years ago I used ConstantContact, and it's a pretty good program. It's got a lot of different email templates and things like that, but I don't know that it was actually an autoresponder program. It does a little bit now, I think, but I don't use it any longer. I've graduated to Aweber, and I've also got the Infusionsoft program, which is very, very powerful. Aweber is real easy to use. I've never used MailChimp, but I understand it's got some real interesting features to it. And I've never used GetResponse or what are some of those other ones? iContact. I've never used those. It's possible that maybe Stacey will create a text document or something that sort of explains the differences, and then I'll put that below this video or wherever. And actually, I see something coming on here. Looks like Stacey's trying to get online. So she's here. She can explain it to us.
There we go. Phew.
She's there. There she is.
Hi.
Hi there. I'm online right now, and as soon as you came on, now my little transparent overlay popped in. So you must have been the missing link that puts us all together. So we're live right now. So don't say nothing derogatory or anything like that.
Like I do that a lot.
I started at 10 o'clock, and I explained that you were having some technical issues and things going on, because that's just the way the world works in the internet world, but you did manage to get on. So we're here. So I'll start fresh. My name is Magic Brad, Asheville, North Carolina, and you are on Synergy Cafe Online. And I've got a special guest today, and it is Stacey Pruim, and she is a systems expert. She works with a lot of different programs and systems, and I often get questions when I'm talking with people of which autoresponder should I use, because there's so many of them, and they're all very similar, but they do different things, and sometimes they overlap, some have other features. So before we get started and get into all the autoresponder technicalities, we want to get to know Stacey better. So Stacey, who are you?
Oh wow, that's an open-ended question.
Exactly.
I'm just going to try and see if I can't set myself.
Like, where do you live? What do you do? And all that kind of thing.
So I live in Asheville, North Carolina as well. Recently moved here about 3 years ago from Washington State. I am a process engineer by trade, industrial engineer, some people know it as. Have a background in manufacturing and healthcare, and then went out on my own about 3 years ago. Started my own company called System Serenity, and I'm getting a beep that my headset is running out of battery juice here.
Oh.
So what I do is I help small businesses improve their processes so that they can make more money.
So we've known each other, and I already know, but you've got a little bit of an accent, so you're from Canada, aren't you?
I am.
I can tell that little about thing going on.
From the great north, eh?
Exactly, up there. And now we live in this wonderful mountain town. It was a little bit stormy out today, and now it's all sunny and beautiful again, so that's great. Um, so that's what you do is you kind of put together systems, like the interior of something. A lot of people see these websites and they see the outside of it, but they don't necessarily see what's going on the inside of the
Right.
whole
And I
thing.
think, the distinct difference between how I work with systems and how many technical type folks out there would design systems for you is I've got some core beliefs around systems having to be natural in order for them to work for you and be sustainable, and also that I'm not your typical consultant in the sense that I believe that you already have the answers before I get there. And so what I am astute at doing is asking the right questions to help you devise your own systems that are perfect for you.
Okay, I like that. I'm kind of a nature guy myself. I like the laws of nature because they're here. You know, they're not going away. It's so something that is natural, kind of like the difference between IBM PC stuff and Macintosh stuff is supposedly more intuitive. And
Right.
if you understand how to work your system, it's much easier for you to make it so that it works for you. I get it.
Right.
Um, so when did you start doing all this stuff? When did you start into this, the being a systems analyst or a systems programmer?
Yeah, I wouldn't actually call myself an analyst or a programmer because I design the actual
Okay.
process, and that is a job. That's why I'm saying that.
I mean, before when
I
you first got the
1990s, early 1990s.
okay, wow, that's
It's been a bit.
a while ago.
I'm older than I look, I guess. Huh?
Just wise. You're wise.
Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time in manufacturing, and then I jumped the border to the U.S. In the year 2000.
You're an alien?
And I did that as part of, I am a legal alien. I jumped the border for a job that was part of a project in Bellingham called Pursuing Perfection, where we were revolutionizing the way healthcare was delivered. And that project was basically hooking up the whole town. Every medical clinic is connected, and they have one shared medical record to help reduce medication errors, and a whole bunch of other things as far as the continuity of care.
Okay.
But
Well,
that's
we got
what drew
the who,
the state.
where, when, and how. And now I like to ask this question before we get into the autoresponder questions, and that is, why do you do this? I mean, you could do anything. Why are you doing what you do?
I find distinct pleasure in getting people beyond their barriers. So, there's nothing that really kind of lights me up more than working with a group of people, a team in a company, let's say, and taking them from a place of frustration, pulling their hair out where they just can't see how this could work, and maybe a little bit of drama going on. From that to being able to problem solve and see themselves as capable and understand that just because, best practice doesn't fit for them doesn't mean that that was the best practice for them. It just feels good.
Exactly. I know what
I
you mean.
love it.
Kind of like when you're working on just a regular computer, there's multiple ways to do certain things, like cutting and pasting. You can use the little drop down and cut and paste, or you can use keystrokes. And a lot of people don't know all those different ways, so you kind of find out what works for them. Maybe they're better with their fingers than they are with the mouse. So you kind of
Right,
help them hook
exactly.
it up that way. I get it. Cool.
Yep.
And your why is you want to help people so they're not pulling their hair out. I understand.
Well, yeah, I like removing frustration, and I like the puzzle of it, because often it's just a little twist, and we think it needs to, things need to be completely transformed, and it can be as simple as, a switch being reversed, so it's up instead of down, and now people don't mess it up. There's a lot of things that go on human error, and if we actually designed the system so that it was easy to do the right thing and hard to do the wrong thing,
I totally
that's
get that.
hair
I see
pulling.
some of these things that are just, they're just so complicated, and then when you find out what the solution is, it's not complicated at all. And
Right.
when you go onto a basic website, and there's so many places to click, but if you knew the one place to click to hook to something, easy breezy. So I get it. You kind of hook that up for other
Exactly.
people. So we're only about 10 minutes into this, so now we got through the basics. Let's talk about these different autoresponders. Like I mentioned, there's MailChimp, ConstantContact, iContact, GetResponse, Infusionsoft. Who knows how many
One
more?
shopping cart. Yeah.
One shopping cart. So let's start with the
Aweber.
one that's I guess the simplest. And let's start with an old one, ConstantContact. I used to use that years ago. And so what is it about ConstantContact?
What are some pros and cons of Constant? It is, ConstantContact has a lot of people that use it and stay with it because it is easy from the template perspective of, you can make it look the way you want fairly easily. Click and drag, where there's complications with ConstantContact is when you want to have it interact with your website, if you want to have more than one list, if you want to have some custom language around your free offer or whatever it is you're using to draw the people into your list, then you get stunted very quickly in ConstantContact.
So for the
you can
most
make
part, it's probably
separate lists fairly easily on the back end, but when it comes to automating it and having people join a different list from the front end, it's very difficult.
So for the most part, its strong point is it's good newsletter type software.
Right. So if you had a list that you were creating manually, let's say you created those lists from events and you were mailing them, but you didn't really have a website that you were wanting people to come in and be drawn into and automate that process, or have some sort of sequence that's done well online, then it would be a great package.
Okay.
It's great at blasting emails.
Got it. Okay, so the next one, let's say iContact. You familiar with that one?
I'm a little less familiar with iContact and GetResponse as far as all of their functionality, but iContact has some of the same limitations as ConstantContact in the sense that it's easy to manage on the back end, but when you try and put things out on the front end that draw people into different lists, if you want to present, let's say you want to have the same list is fed by a form on your sidebar, a form in your footer, a form in your head. You could be you're trying to. You can't do that with those two packages.
Okay. And then let's see, what is the other one? GetResponse. Do you know anything about GetResponse? I've heard of that one. I don't do it myself.
I don't. The only time I haven't been drawn to GetResponse. I don't have any clients that have used it as of yet, and because I find the ones that we have used effective, I haven't looked into GetResponse very far. Yeah.
Okay, I've noticed. I've seen a lot of people that are using it. I'm not sure what the good thing about it is. I just saw something on Facebook today that people were talking about how it's not integrating with something else. So that's just your typical thing with everything.
The ones that are most frequently found in integrations, I find, are MailChimp and Aweber.
MailChimp.
Yeah.
That's got some. That's kind of. I haven't used it myself, but I think that it's got some features that are kind of unique to the others, doesn't it?
It's got some good goal type situations in the background. So if you're targeting a certain type of behavior, it's very easy to create templates in MailChimp so that you can have areas that are editable and others that are not, at least from the developer standpoint, so that you can set it up for your customers. It's got a very intuitive, I think, interface relative to some of the other ones, and it's free.
So you said
the free part is
the goals, is that so it can jump from one, it reaches a goal and then it sort of segments and goes to a different campaign or a different message?
No, that's just metrics basically. So you can set up what you're measuring.
Okay.
Open rates, interaction. Yeah, but again, it's got the one sequence per list and the autoresponder set. It's pretty easy. You can have either hosted or not hosted, create. Again, the difference there is multiple forms for the same list do not exist. So you can only have one form for one list.
Okay, and then two others I'm thinking about. Well, there's one shopping cart, but I want to save Infusionsoft for last because that's one that I use, and I know that it's very robust, I guess. It's like the Ferrari of programs. So what about Aweber? What's your read on Aweber?
I think Aweber has been, at least historically for me over the last 3 years, a stellar application. They've got great support that are open fairly wide hours, and they look after you quite well. I think their interface is fairly intuitive. They allow for pretty easy creation of multiple forms for the same list. Again, template is fairly easy to create and use. The same thing happens there, though, where you have one follow-up sequence that is allowed per list. And the one thing that's really irking me a little bit about Aweber lately, well, first of all, it's having some issues out there. I don't know if you've seen the, I haven't been paying strict attention, but I know that they've had quite a few technical difficulties as of late.
I heard they've gotten some stuff has been happening. That's probably because so many people are using it, including the wackos.
Including the wackos, right. And that doesn't help their deliverability when that happens. When the
so I use Aweber just as a side system for some things, and when you got a campaign, you got a lot of lists, and people have gone through your series of emails. Is there a way to reset all of them, or do they have to be reset one at a time, or sent into a different campaign or something?
Yeah, in Aweber there's one follow-up sequence per list. And so if you want them to get another sequence, you basically have to add them to another list, or you need to manually schedule. You could manually schedule 5 emails and target a certain list.
But I mean, they're in a campaign, and they went through one, like a 21-day drip, and they get to 21, and they're done with the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get other emails to them? Do you redirect them to another campaign, or can you
no, you have to manually broadcast.
Okay, so it's no longer
and
automated.
there's a said difference between an Aweber and an Infusionsoft.
Yeah, I heard that you can contact Aweber.
Actually, that same thing happens with. They'll reset. I mean, you could set where they are in the campaign sequence, so you can say they're on day 1 again if you wanted to put them in the same sequence.
Yeah, I think you got to do that in. I think you got to do that manually to reset.
You could do that manually, but I don't know why you'd want to set them through the same sequence.
Okay, I don't know why either. I just know that that's I just swallowed something funny. How's that? Do I sound better?
So in all of in Aweber, in one shopping cart, in those packages, you can they keep track of the number of days since you joined the list, and you can reset that number, or you can put it forward if you want them to skip a certain section, but that is done manually. You're right.
Got it. Okay, let's touch on one shopping cart. What do you know about one shopping cart?
One shopping cart I am not a huge fan of. One of the benefits of, at least this, what I've experienced in the past about one shopping cart that people like, is that it is both a shopping cart and an autoresponder. So if you look at packages like ConstantContact, MailChimp, Aweber, that's just the email side of things. It's just the communication side of things, and it doesn't take into account the sales. And so if you're selling a program and hooking that all up, you'd have to integrate with PayPal or your other payment processor. In one shopping cart, when they buy a product or they buy something from you online, you can set it up so that they automatically are set to a list and that they follow a sequence.
Got it. Okay,
within the same patch. If you were to do it with Aweber, you could integrate it with PayPal, let's say, and have when somebody hits a PayPal button that they're automatically added to an Aweber list, but the user would still have to confirm that they want to be a part of that list. In one shopping cart, they assume because you've made the purchase, you do want to be on the list.
Interesting.
And so they don't ask you again, and that's where the awkward part comes, because you can lose people because they don't confirm.
Got it. So it's almost like you need to have all these programs for different uses. Okay, so let's talk about the king, the one that I really like, but it's very confusing. In fact, it's got a name called Confusionsoft. A lot of people don't like it because it's confusing, and I guess that's part of the reason for hiring someone like you, because you understand it, and I know it's very powerful. I saw it a long time ago, before they changed their logo and all that. And I've got it. I use it. I like it, but it's still it's complex inside there.
Well, it's capable of doing a lot of things, and I think that that's one of the reasons why it gets labeled as Confusionsoft. Not that I've ever done that. Is because there's so much there to be used. So it's not only an email marketing package, and it's got campaigns that you can start based on somebody being labeled with something, they've signed up in a form, they have purchased a product, they have somehow interacted with your system. They also, I completely lost my thought. Oh, it's also a CRM, so a contact relation management system, or customer relation management system, which means that you can keep track of notes that you've made on calls, let's say with a client or a prospect. Sales, it's got a sales funnel to be able to take them through the sales sequence and take them from one stage to another, and have
so
automation.
If you've got a sales team, like say a car lot or something, got a lot of.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you've got a sales team, it's very good for that. Very
cool.
Right,
and then it's got, on top of that, it's got the e-commerce side.
But it's
and
really
I actually,
not for.
They don't.
It's really not for the kind of person that wants to just make some money online. It's really for a person that wants to really develop a real business, a real serious.
Right.
Because it is an expense.
Yeah, it's set up to be able to help you. It ranges from just over 200 to almost 400, depending on what package you get. Yep.
One time or per month or what?
That's a monthly fee, and there is a Kickstart fee that's a requirement for Infusionsoft. One of the reasons why, and the Kickstart basically has somebody, either from Infusionsoft or if you buy from a certified consultant like myself, it would be from me, where they onboard the individual and help them bring in their contact list, understand the branding, understand how to create the email templates, understand how to create campaigns, because they found when they didn't do that, they had people giving up on it quickly and not realizing kind of all of the ability that it had. So that is the reason why it gets the label Confusionsoft, is because people haven't been taken through the package systematically. Because if you actually go through it piece by piece and spend time showing somebody how to use it, it loses a lot of its confusion.
Yeah, because there's an element, like I said, the CRM or customer relationship management, where a sales team can have it. Then there's the whole autoresponder part of it, and there's the segmentation. So if someone is, say, they're interested in red Corvettes, they're getting messages automatically about red Corvettes, and then all of a sudden they click on like blue Chevrolets. They're now going to get different information that's relevant to what their interest is. I think that's one of the most powerful things with Infusionsoft is it really
the segmentation
automates
is
business.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's big that way. I think that and all the different forms and the flexibility of the forms, what you can do with them. It's just a matter of knowing how to work it. And like you said, when you're talking with someone like yourself, and you can say, well, it's simple. You just go to the left-hand side and drop that down and click on this, and it's easy to get there. But if you don't know that you're supposed to go to the left-hand side and click on that and drop down that, you get lost. So I understand why it's confusing. It's it's like getting inside of a Learjet. You better know how to work it.
Well, and we learn best if we learn when we're trying to do something. And so, source of information about Infusionsoft, and you really were only at the stage where you're bringing in your list, you're not going to remember. It's all going to be like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 in the background until you need to use it. And then when you need to use it, you can't remember because there was so much. But it's also got some amazing features that some of the other packages don't have, in the sense that you can react. If you send an email to your list and you've got links in that email, you can make things happen on the back end based on how somebody interacts with the email. So if they click a link and look at a sales page, you can tag them when they click the link.
Okay, so you know what they're interested
If
in
you
as
say
they're
recording
navigating
for a
through your
call,
newsletter.
you can tell whether or not they've opened the call, exactly. And you can, because they opened one video, let's say you sent a video series of 3 different lessons in how to properly care for cats, right? Then if they watch one of the videos, you can literally take them down a different path. So you know they've already watched video 1. You can say in the next email, I noticed that you watched the first video. Here's what we want you to look at between this and the next video, and send a different message to people that haven't. You haven't yet seen the first one, and don't send them the second one.
Got it.
Until they've watched the first one, or whatever you choose to do. But it gives your list also the feeling of who they are.
Right. Well,
If
it's
you're making an offer, you can tell
right.
they've already. Oh, sorry.
It's 10:27 now by my little clock here, so we've only got a couple more minutes, and then this is going to cut off because I only scheduled it for half an hour, because I don't want to waste all these people's time. They've got other things they have to do. So I try and make these videos short, sweet, and to the point. But we can do another one later on, maybe more specifically about Infusionsoft or MailChimp. And you can stay back online. We'll chat a little bit after and figure out how we're going to propagate this video out to the people that need to hear it. And other than that, appreciate you taking your time, and thank you everybody for watching this. And if you need any more, I will of course put relevant links on the bottom of the video and also on my blog and where I propagate it out to the internet. So thanks again, Stacey, for sharing your wisdom and experience and knowledge. And thank you everybody for watching. So that's it. Magic Brad, Asheville, North Carolina, Synergy Cafe, signing off. Peace, love, and happiness.
Bye now.